Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. Let's talk post-crash stuff. First, you'll notice that I'm not wearing a sling, and there's a reason for that I'll be talking about in a bit. I ended up with 6 broken ribs. I don't know how many were fractured and how many were just cracked. I had a broken clavicle and a small lung puncture. So we'll start with the lung puncture. You have the lung, and then on the outside of it you have it covered by this pleura. And the puncture caused air to leak out of the lung, and of course there was some blood involved. And so that goes into the pleura, and that prevents the lung from expanding, at least part of the lung expanding. So that's why they had to stick a tube in me. When they went to stick the tube in me, it was done by, of course, a doctor, but he was also a TA, teaching assistant, and he had 4, in this case, female interns. And the first thing he said when he walked into the room was, "I know this is going to be your first one." And so I perked up at that point, and then he followed up, fortunately, with, "I'm going to do everything, but I'm going to have you do some stuff after the fact." So what they did is gave me a little bit of lidocaine, so the tube went under here. Gave me a little bit of lidocaine, started cutting, and he's talking the whole time because it's a teaching moment, right? And when he cuts through, at a certain point he says, "Okay, go ahead and stick your finger in." So she's feeling around and says, "Feel where the rib is, feel the path, feel the fat," and etc. And then when he went to stick the tube in, it was more of a push in to break through the pleura. And it was more like, oh. Now, when I heard from other people about tubes in the lungs, it was always associated with a lot of pain, but there was really no pain involved with that during the process or after the process. If I feel anything now, it's more the muscles that it went through, that type of thing. In terms of pain, the main pain that I have when it exists, and I'm not taking any pain pills now, is around the intercostal muscles near where the breaks of the ribs were, and also in a muscle, and I can't think of which one, maybe it's part of the lat muscle, underneath the left scapula, underneath the left shoulder blade, when it gets fatigued, when I'm doing a lot of standing, walking, or some other things. So every once in a while I got to take a time out and just rest that. Okay, so now to the clavicle. The reason why I'm not wearing the sling is because it's not needed. Ordinarily, when you see a clavicle break, it happens in the middle, and I'll stick a picture on the screen right now. But in my case, the break came real close to the shoulder. And so with the ligaments pushing the shoulder down, as it's supposed to do, and now the clavicle not being connected, the clavicle is up, so there's actually no connection at all. It's above where the other break is on the shoulder side. So the ortho said that I saw the other day was that what's going to happen is that you're going to get some scar tissue forming there, and that it's going to solidify, and so that's going to be your connection to your bone. My shoulder is going to be lowered a little bit as opposed to the other shoulder. I'm no longer going to have my Adonis-like symmetry body, but you work with what you got. The reason why they're not proposing any surgery is because there's just not a lot of real estate for that bone to connect the bone with screws and plates and stuff, because it's so close to the shoulder. Now, he did say they can put a plate over the shoulder and connect it to that, but then that'll immobilize my shoulder, which they can do. Then they'd have to go back in afterwards, after the bone is healed, and surgically remove, of course, that hardware. So then that's 2 cases of surgery and 2 possibilities of infection. So what he said was logical to me. However, I'm going for a second opinion next week, early next week, just to see if it solidifies his opinion or it gives me some other options. So that's the update. Thank you for all the well wishes, and in my next video I'm going to be talking about what one could do nutritionally to help speed up the recovery process and what I'm doing. Okay, you know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe, and hit that little bell to get notified about the next video coming out. The Cycling Greek.